The New York Jets landed a quarterback that they deemed the future in the 2018 NFL Draft, but has the rest of the roster actually positioned themselves to take flight this season? We'll take a look at the flight plan for Gang Green in this 2018 season preview. Let's start by taking a look at some of the key storylines as we go into our 4-minute offense. I don't know if you heard, but the Jets have some new quarterbacks this year on the roster. The good part is that this current depth chart may be the best they've had in years. The only remaining questions are who will get the starting nod to open the season, or who will get the starting nod to open the season. Conventional thought would lead you to believe that the answer would be a veteran. In this case, you have two: Josh McCown, who was a starter last year and played admirably, and Teddy Bridgewater, the former first-round pick of the Minnesota Vikings, who led them to the playoffs in his second season, only to suffer a freak knee injury in training camp of his third. I believe if Bridgewater is more comfortable than what he was in spot duty last year, then he would be the obvious choice to start the season. And then there's first-round pick Sam Darnold out of USC, and it's obvious that he's the Jets' future plans at the position. But if you have a healthy Teddy Bridgewater, then there's no need to rush him out there on the field. The thing about Darnold is that he has a little bit of both Josh McCown and Teddy Bridgewater in his game. The McCown part is the head-scratching turnovers that seem to come in bunches. Now, the Bridgewater part is his mental toughness and ability to overcome early setbacks to come out on the winning side of the scoreboard. I compare Darnold's game to that of Tony Romo, and it'll be interesting to see how this shakes out. But needless to say, Gang Green is in much better position at this position than years previous. Staying on the offensive side of the ball, the New York Jets have the potential to have arguably the most explosive backfield in the division. From a stylistic standpoint, both Bilal Powell and Elijah McGuire are similar players. Both guys possess home run hitting speed and the ability to thrive in the passing game. In the 6th round of the 2018 NFL Draft, they selected Trenton Cannon from Virginia State. Cannon has legit sprinter speed and plays the same game as both Powell and McGuire. So from the looks of it, the Jets are stocking their backfield with similar talents, which is a smart thing to do when one of their main attributes is home run speed. While the defense gets tired, the speed on the offensive side remains fresh. Also, they bring in via free agency Isaiah Crowell from the Cleveland Browns, who has very good burst but doesn't have the ability in the passing game as the other three. Defensively, I'm a big fan of the Jets' defensive coordinator, Casey Rogers. He's one of the best defensive minds in the game, and this is going to be a pivotal year for him, as many want to see the defense take the next step and get back to being dominant. The Jets invested heavily on the defensive side of the ball in both the draft and in free agency over the last 2 seasons, and it'll be time to see the payoff on the field this upcoming year. I truly believe Rodgers has enough to work with in order to be successful. Speaking of the defense and its new pieces, this offseason the Jets added some more talent on that side of the ball, with cornerback Jermaine Johnson being the biggest. He signed a 5-year, $72 million deal to be their number 1 corner. Linebacker Avery Williamson comes over from the Tennessee Titans to man the inside linebacker spot opposite of Darren Lee. Kevin Minter from the Cincinnati Bengals will provide good veteran depth on the interior. And in a draft day trade, the Jets acquired defensive lineman Henry Anderson from the Indianapolis Colts to potentially start up front. So expect all of these acquisitions to play a significant role in the team's success or failure on that side of the ball, which is why a lot of eyes will be on the defense this year to make those significant strides. One of the reasons for optimism this year involves the receiving core. I think the Jets are criminally underrated in this aspect of their offense. Both Robbie Anderson and Jermaine Kearse are dependable vets, combining for over 1,700 yards and 12 touchdowns. A healthy Quincy Enunwa gives them their version of Anquan Bolden. Look for Chad Hansen to play an even bigger role this season. He has above average run after the catch skills that you look for at the position. And in free agency, they brought over Terrell Pryor from the Washington Redskins, who is still working through the nuances of playing the position after making a move from quarterback. Now, he's flashed, but now being 3 years into that move, he should be able to blossom into a consistent threat. The Jets also have an impressive collection of tight end talent on the roster as well. They get Jordan Leggett back healthy, and he should be the starting tight end in my opinion. He's a very good route runner that has excellent hands. They also signed Clive Walford in free agency from the Oakland Raiders, who's an athletic receiving type that could provide a matchup problem, as well as 4th-round pick rookie Chris Herndon out of Miami, who's cut from the same cloth as Clive Walford and Jordan Leggett. And keep an eye on Eric Tomlinson, Neil Sterling, and Bucky Hodges. That's even more athleticism and receiving skills that fill out the depth chart for the Jets. Again, just like with the running back position, the Jets have stockpiled the tight end group with similar talents that are big threats in the passing game. The offensive line gives you another reason for optimism. I was concerned about this group heading into last season, but they actually played well considering the losses. Now with a year of experience together and some key additions like center Spencer Long and Travis Swanson, this group can grow together as they continue to build on the foundation that was laid in 2017. And on the defensive side, I'm more optimistic about the secondary than anything. Getting Tremaine Johnson was huge, but this team proved last year to be excellent at safety, with both Jamal Adams and Marcus May playing great as rookies. Morris Claiborne started to come into his own last year, looking to regain that swagger and confidence that made him a first-round pick a few years ago. And they also have good depth with Buster Screen, Justin Burris, and rookie Perry Nickerson. The cause for concern would be along the defensive line. Now, one spot you don't have to worry about is with Leonard Williams, who's one of the best defensive linemen in the game and one of the more versatile guys that can play anywhere up front. The issue is that they lose Mo Wilkerson and will have to find someone to replace what he brought to the table. Now, nose tackle looks to be a bit deeper than the opposite end, but it's that opposite end spot that still gives me a bit of pause heading into camp. Another concern would be the pass rush. The Jets really need this to be where they make the biggest jump in 2018, as they only had 28 sacks last year, which was good for 28th in the NFL. All right, now here are some quick Jets takes as they head into training camp. I think Elijah McGuire and Darren Lee are primed for breakout seasons. McGuire, in my opinion, should get the bulk of the carries, or at least should be more involved in the offense than what we saw a year ago. He's a guy that can put the ball in the end zone from anywhere on the field, and look for Lee to blossom into the complete backer this year, proving his worth on both ends of defense. He has great speed, great acceleration, and also great instincts. A couple of players that are surprise folks in training camp will be tight end Jordan Leggett and cornerback Xavier Coleman. Leggett will prove the Jets right by allowing Austin Seferian-Jenkins to walk in free agency, while Coleman, who made the team last year as an undrafted free agent out of Portland State, will put himself in the conversation for time in the regular defense with his play. He's one of the better matchup corners that they have on the roster. For rookie standouts, I'm going with Trenton Cannon and Nathan Shepard. I think Cannon's rookie impact will come on special teams as a kickoff and punt returner. He's got that speed that you can't coach and the natural running skills to ring up that cash register pretty quickly. Shepard was one of the Jets' best draft picks, and for my money, should be the starter opposite of Leonard Williams at defensive end. I like what he brings to the table from a technical standpoint, which allows him to be a threat versus the run, as well as a pass rusher. Now, from a fantasy football perspective, Robbie Anderson has become the go-to guy in this offense, and if you're looking for a trusted offensive option for your fantasy team from this Jets team, I think Anderson would be your best bet. The road to the Super Bowl for the New York Jets goes as follows. The front seven has to become dominant. Now, this is going back a bit, but when the Jets were competing in the AFC, their front seven was excellent. Now, with the pieces that they have on the roster, the potential is there for them to be just that. They just have to realize it. And whoever gets the nod at quarterback, whether that's Bridgewater, McCown, or Darnold, they just have to be efficient and make the smart football play. That alone could carry an offense a very long way in the NFL. And they have to have those big plays in abundance in all three facets. I know this is easy to be said for, or you can say this for every team, but for the Jets it's important. And that's offense, defense, and special teams. Offensively, that's plays over 20 plus yards that also equal touchdowns. Defensively, that's sacks and turnovers. On special teams, that's returns for touchdowns and 40 plus yard made field goals. If the Jets can get these in bunches, then they can get to the big game. I have the Jets finishing second in the AFC East. I really like the overall collection of talent on this roster on both sides of the ball. The coaching staff is in place to get them where they want to be, and I have a feeling that the players believe so as well. The Jets will be much better than many people think and will be a strong contender for that final playoff spot in the AFC. So that's it for our 2018 NFL season team preview. Be sure to follow me on all of our social media accounts. Also check out and subscribe on iTunes to Football Game Plan Podcast, and to find other NFL team previews for our 2018 NFL season kickoff, visit the YouTube channel at youtube.com/footballgameplan and click that subscribe button.